Let me know before we start the class. Let me know before we. Or you can write it on the, type it on the Slack channel, or you can unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions about last week. So the notes for today are on the Slack channel right here. So just scroll up. If you don't see it, if you're here, just scroll up a little bit and you're going to see the notes here for today, February 18th. And I have placed here the files that we're going to be using today. So if you want to download them in advance, you all are free to do that. I'm going to be sharing them on Slack during the class, but if you want to have them before, you can just download them here and then upload them to your IDE. So any questions about any of the information so far, uploading or downloading, uploading the files? Okay, so if you let me know if you have any questions, okay? So, so today is the third class. Next week is gonna be our last class for this session, and then we're gonna start a new session in March. So we're gonna be doing a little bit of what we did last week. So anybody remembers what we were working on last week? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I figure since I've been home all this time, I needed to make a change. But as you heard, the library is going to open in March. So for the public, I mean, we go every once in a while, but for the public, it's going to be open. I hope you got an email, or you can check the website to see the hours that we're going to have. So, okay, so what we're going to do today is, if you go to your class, you're going to see the class notes that I put in Slack. You just scroll down, up, and you're going to see it here. And you're going to see that the lesson for today. So I hope this is fun today. I think today is going to be a fun class. It's in the preparation to the last class next week, which is going to be more into more structures and tools and syntax. So this, I just want to give you enough time to practice how to standardize the data, or so clean up the data. So usually when you get data from public, it's a little bit all very unorganized and it's not standardized. So you have to clean it up as much as you can. So the example I'm going to give you here is, this is a picture of a form. So in this form, this was something that came up in a class. So I asked a group of students to enter their favorite TV show. And this was last fall when they entered. So you can see what kind of shows students that are freshmen in college like last fall. So that's a quick interesting thing to look at. So they'll go into this form and they're gonna type their favorite show. You're just gonna type. So There is no formatting. They can type lowercase, uppercase. They can add extra spaces. They can add mistakes. There is just a free typing. And then they're going to choose the genre of each show. And this is just depends of the user. So there is no right or wrong answer. It's whatever, if they have a show here that the thing is action, they're going to put action, but it's not entirely correct. This is up to the user. So it's a very free form. So the data that this is going to generate, so this created very easy on Google Form. It's Google Form. Google Docs has this really easy tool to use. And then it's gonna go collect it on a spreadsheet similar to Excel. And you're gonna see here the timestamp. So this is the time that each student went and input their data on the form. And you're gonna see the title. So these are the headers. So you remember the headers don't change. And we're gonna be using that in the code like we did last week with the Oscar database. And you see they type, and you're gonna see here, I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but the way that each title of the show is typed is very hazardous. It's very random. So some people use uppercase, lowercase. So if you want to quantify all the shows, you'll have to have in mind that some people have lowercase, some people have uppercase, some people did a mix. And then they get to choose the genre for each show, the genre for each show. So what I will suggest you to do right now is take the raw data. So this is what we call raw data. It's the raw data because it hasn't been clean. It hasn't been standardized or canonized or whatever it's called. So it's just raw data that come from the field. And when we call for the field, it just come from directly from the input user. It hasn't been cleaned up or processed in any way. It's just data that captures that. And so go ahead and download this file. Download this file, or I'm going to put it here on Slack and go ahead and upload it to your IDE. So let me put it on Slack so you can upload it to your IDE, because we're going to run, that's our input data. So you're going to go to your IDE, and it's reconnecting. And so while you are, so you're going to go here on Slack and you're going to download this to your computer. And it's a CSV file. And then we're going to retry this. My internet is a little slow. Must be all the snow outside. But you're going to upload it up to your IDE. And remember, you're going to go and upload it, upload local files. So you're going to upload it there. And remember where you're going to upload it. You have to be mindful the position, the location where you upload it. So you can also run the script right beside the CSV file. So they're, okay, this is taking a little bit longer reconnecting, so I'm gonna have to reconnect it idle off. So any questions so far about uploading the CSV file to your IDE? No questions? Everybody's cool? You can let me know in Slack. If everything is cool, I'll proceed. So you're gonna upload it. So I upload it here on my IDE. Oh, good, thank you. And I uploaded here, I made a file. So you do what is best for you, but I made a folder here, CSV file, and I put the file here. And then Good. So you have to make it work for you, because then you're going to have to call it. Remember, you have to put the path here. So you have to be mindful of that. So my path might not be the same than your path. So just be mindful for that. You can put it right beside it, your Python file. So you don't have, it's very easy. You don't have to put the name of the folder that you're referring. So the path would be just the exact name of that file. Remember, it's the exact name of the file. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm gonna send you the script for that we wanna run, which is favorite 003. So I'm gonna put that on Slack, and you can copy paste it from Slack into your IDE. Remember to make a new file, and you can run it on your IDE and run it as is, as is showing. And it should be like this, like it's showing on the screen. Just be mindful the path. So, you know, if you created it, if you put your CSV file inside a folder, make sure you call the folder here. If not, you just put the name of the file. Exactly. So what I do sometimes, I just click here, right click on the file, and then I put rename, and then I just copy pasted that. So I don't have to, so I can be sure I copy the SAG words and spacing, because it measured all this spacing, and then I type that CSV. Okay, so next you're going to run that file, and you're gonna turn off, make sure you turn off this line that says title at, no, sorry. We're gonna turn off run below using only this line. So you make sure that line is working. So this one has to be on. So make sure this one is on. The title, that at, parenthesis, row, bracket, quotes, title. So make sure that one, and it should be. So go ahead and run it and let me know what looks for you. I have to go to find my path here. And I'm gonna, so anybody has run it so far? Yeah, so what do you get? The list of titles. Okay, so hold on there, and now we're going to turn off. So everybody should have something like this showing on your terminal. So that's the list of all the TV shows, and is you can see there is an order here. So there is some kind of yeah, it's sorted, because remember we sorted it here. So if you go to line, very good, you notice 23 is already sorted. So we did that last week. So remember, yeah, so that I'm glad you all noticed that it has been sorted. So line 23 is the same code we used last week. So it's already sorted in this order alphabetical. And one of the things you want to notice is the data, how the computer is reading the data. So it's reading the data, and also you notice that there's some repetitions here. You see that? So the avatar, you notice what's going on with the avatar, the last airbender. And there are all kind of things here. It's really interesting to see what people think were watching last fall. All kind of shows here, old and new and never heard before. So you can see a peak in the mind of freshmen. Yeah, capitalization matters. Yeah, that's good, good. That's a good observation. Uh, the capitalization matters. So you can see here, but there is also something, if we want to count, so the aim of having this data, remember the aim of having this data is to collect the popular shows. What are the popular shows? So the information we want to extract from this data is what are freshman college kids watching in the fall of 2020? What was the most popular show in their demographic? So, if you're a marketer, that was going to help you to pinpoint where you're going to put your commercials or what ads and do a lot of target marketing. So you want to find out what's the most popular show. And one of the things that is happening here, how you going to count if you have a show. So you're going to see here this Avatar, The Last Airbender. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. You see how you think the computer is going to count them? You think it's going to count them as 4 entries total or a 4 entries of individual entries? Four individual entries. So anybody knows why? They are all different. Yeah. So for a human, for us, is the same show, right? The Avatar, The Last Airbender is the same show. But the computer doesn't know, because remember, the computer is reading. So very good. It's reading the strings and the spaces and the lowercase and the uppercase. So they're very good. Excellent. So the next thing we need to do, the next steps to standardize, clean up the data will be to make everything what? Everything uppercase. So you can go, excellent, you can go to your code and you're gonna go here to line 18. So let's turn off line 17. Yeah, it could be all lowercase, but let's put everything uppercase. So it just is, you can choose one or the other, but the standard procedure is to put everything on uppercase. That's just the standard way of working. But yeah, you can put all lowercase. So you're gonna turn on line 18. In that upper, this function upper is a built-in function that comes with Python, and it's gonna put everything up. So let's run it again. And you're gonna see everything when uppercase, everything when uppercase. So you can see that. So that's gonna help the computer now to differentiate. So you can see now the last avatar, these 2 places are gonna be count as the last airbender. So this is one entry, this is one entry, and this is the other entry. Okay. And I think we lost one because we have 4. So we lost one. Interesting. Maybe it sent it somewhere else. So now it's counting this, but it's showing. Oh, I know what it's doing. I know what it's doing. So remember, we are sending all this to a set like last week. Did you guys notice that? So I didn't point it out because this is what we did last week, but is taking this data here from the file, the CSV file, written as a dictionary, and then on this line 18, is sending it to a set. So a set is no duplicates. So what you're printing out here is the set. See that? That's the set, because here we're telling them to print the set called titles. Everybody got that? Or do you want me to repeat it? Okay. Did anybody want me to repeat it? Because I know that's kind of... Okay. If you want me to repeat it, I'll repeat it. But right now, I'm just going to move ahead, assuming that everybody understood. So this is the set. Set doesn't allow duplicates. That's why we see here when they were different cases, different written, it took us a unique value, but now that's why we have only 3, because it thinks these are different. So that's why you go from 4 to 3. Because this is a set. What we're looking is a set. So the set doesn't allow duplicates. It's gonna take only unique. So this is not a good place to start counting, but it's a good place to clean the data. So we still have one problem with the avatar. So we know, okay, the avatar has columns. Somebody put column, I don't know why. Maybe that's the way it's really written. I don't know. But you see here, what's the difference between these two avatars? Why the computer still think they are different? Any ideas? Yeah, so there is spaces. So I don't know about you, but some people, when they type, they might hit enter, right? Or they type and then they misspell it, so they delete and then they type and then they press the space key and then press enter. So a human has a very random way of using the type. You can control how the human is gonna type. It can, if you ever try to write an email for an important person, you might have noticed that you had to erase it and rewrite it, erase it and rewrite it. And all that add characters that we cannot see. So the same thing. So maybe here somebody type avatar the laser vendor and click the space key or the tab key and then press enter. But we cannot see it, but the computer can see it. So let's go and turn off line 18 and try line 19. And go ahead and run it again with line 19. And you're gonna see on line 19 is strip, the strip function. So the strip is gonna remove the trim, the white space on the left and the right space on the right. Okay, so let's try to see if it works. And now let's go and see if we find the last hair vendor here, the avatar, which I really like that show. I don't know if you watch it, but I really like it. So now we have only 2. So what happened? Yeah, one has colon and we cannot remove it. And so we actually, the extra one that we had, it had a space. So by doing the strip function, we remove the space, and then now we have only two, which are entirely different for us, as well as for the computer, because one has colon and the other doesn't have colon. So so we're gonna use the uppercase, the upper function, and the strip function to clean up. So that's a very easy to clean up, and you can write it here. So you can combine it, and actually there are more functions. If you look into Python, there are more functions that you can add. You can also do lowercase instead of upper. So you can go and look in the documentation in Google lowercase Python, and you're gonna see the function or anything you wanna do. There is a whole list of functions to clean up. So the white space, if we're gonna remove the space before and after with strip. So people may press space key after typing or the tab key, and that creates white space. So what happens is the computer, when it takes the comparison, it compares here on the code. It's gonna add it. It's gonna take the title, the row title from the CSV, and it's gonna add it to the set. But in the set, because it doesn't allow duplicate, it's gonna compare the whole string. And the white space are considered part of a string. So if one has, the one in the set doesn't have white space, and the one that we're adding, it has white space, it's gonna consider not a duplicate. It's gonna add it. So that's why it thinks terms with white space gets added. So so we do that, and so we use that, and so that's called a standardized or canonicalization. And so this is something that you have to do to clean up the data. If you ever deal with Excel data that comes from you, you have to do it in Excel. It's very monotonous, very time consuming. So having something like this that can do it for you is wonderful. So it's the process converting data that involves more than one representation into a standard, and you define the standard. So you the person who is managing the data is going to design the standard, whether we want everything uppercase, whether we want everything lowercase, or so on. So that's everybody, if you're going to manage the data, you have to have a standard what the data needs to look like. So there are other things to fix, and there are also a lot. If you look at the whole list, at the whole output, there is a lot of weird things going on here. So you can spend a whole week cleaning up this data. So they are like park and recreation. They have different versions. They have friends written like that. And when you run out of built-in functions that you can use easily, like we just did, then you have to go with the conditional statement. So you have to put several conditional statements over and over. So you would do if found friends like this, that means it's friends, or you can remove the apostrophe, not the apostrophe, the ampersand, or you can do all kind of conditions so you can count the data as park and recreation and not as as three different entries. But that will spend a lot of time. So what is one person already said in the couple classes before? So what do you think to help you with that? What are the things that you can do to the form to make your management, your cleaning, post-processing of that data easier? Yeah, you can have options. Very good. And all of us have to, especially since March, we found ourselves filling out forms everywhere on the internet. So maybe have rules that only have already pre-formatted, where people, like you can see with the Social Security or with a phone number, is already, they tell you already how to put the formatting. Also dates, you gonna see they tell you this is a month, this is a year, and don't mess it up. And if you enter the wrong one, it's gonna give you an alert. You can also have a default, yeah, autofill. You can have a default that everything that gets entered, it goes to uppercase. So people are prompt to not, they are forced not to use lowercase in combination. Everything is lowercase, or you will limit the number of characters here. So even if they run out of room, you know, like if they do avatar, just give them enough to put avatar. So nobody's gonna have the option to add more. So there are different ways to diminish the post-processing of your data. And because you can see this is very labor intensive. So, so we're gonna just leave data like that. And just for now, just concentrate, try to practice different versions of this by upper and strip. And you can go to the data and change the data and see how how it works and why it doesn't work. So that's a good exercise. So any questions about this? Okay, so we're moving on to the next topic. So now, we're gonna move into counting, because that's what we're gonna know. We want to know what is the most popular TV show. So right now, all the outputs are stored in a set, because it's right here on this set here on line 7. And all the TV shows are contained in that title set. And the set only allows one term. So it's gonna enter, it's gonna allow all this. So it's only one entry, but we cannot add a value. So the set is not gonna let us add a value to friends. So we will have to count. So we will have to add one, like if we have friends, let me find here, grade anatomy. So in grades anatomy, you'll have to count it. So for one entry will be 1. Oh, let me open the original. There it is. So this is the original, the CSV file for, so we have to count the office, is the TV show, The Office, we have to count it. So this is gonna be value 1, this is gonna be value 1. So when we add it together, it's gonna be 2. So then the next one, The Office is gonna be 1, 2. So it has to have a value of 1. So when we add them is 3. And then here, this has to be a value of 1. So, and so on until we finish counting. But since the set doesn't allow us to add a value that links to that, we need to use another data type. So what data type allow us to put a term in a value associated to that? Anybody remembers? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So it's the dictionary. And so we have to now say bye-bye to the set, because sets are not going to help us, because also they don't allow duplicates, and we need the duplicates to count, to have the true count. So we're going to have to send everything to the dictionary. Okay, so you remember when we did the ice cream example last week, it looks, let me open it now. I'm gonna have to open it here. Let me make a duplicate in case it takes me to the wrong place. So you remember we did something similar last week, which was the ice cream. And I'm just gonna show you just visually what the ice cream looks like. So this was a dictionary, and we did the same thing. We got the most popular flavors. So this is what we had to do. We had to turn this into the ice cream example, except we don't have what on here. So this one had, the ice cream example had something that we don't have, which is a dictionary, but something else. Our set, okay, let me start here. So I'm gonna send you the data, the file. I'm gonna put in Slack, and you can copy paste it there. And then you're gonna notice something. So once you have the code, so this code here is gonna be, I just took this code that we had here, and I'm gonna change this to dictionary. So now instead of set, I'm gonna do titles, and I'm gonna put the curly braces for dictionary. So that's so far that, I mean, I changed a lot, but so far this is the main thing. If you wanna change from set to dictionary, you just, instead of writing titles equals set, parentheses, you write titles equal curly braces, okay? So you do that. So it's the same thing. You're gonna have the file here. You're gonna open it, and then you're gonna read it as a dictionary. And then you see this is very similar. You're gonna add it. You're gonna put it, you're gonna add it to the dictionary, but we're gonna strip the white space, and we're gonna do the upper, send everything to upper. And then we have to count them. So anytime we add one, we add a value, we're gonna add one, add one, add one. And if it's the same value, it increases, okay? So there is something here off, but I want you to run it anyway and get the error. And then we talk about the error. Maybe somebody noticed it already. So if you compare this code to the ice cream, there is something slightly different with the dictionary. Let's see if somebody catches that. But if not, just hold on and go ahead and run it, and you should get an error. I'm looking at the Slack that I have here on my iPad because I don't have enough screens. I have like, I need one more screen. I have two, but I need one more. We define the titles in the ice cream. Yeah, you are closer, you're closer. The values are 0 in the ice cream, yeah. So you notice there are no values here, see? This dictionary is empty. The dictionary is empty. So here we get an error. So did everybody get an error? Everybody should have got this error when you run it. Yeah, good. So sometimes the errors help you understand. And I know you shouldn't make mistakes, but sometimes mistakes help you. So in this case, it's gonna help us because it's telling us that there is a key error. So you'll see Punisher. Punisher is one of the shows that it's here. It's somewhere here. So it's one of the shows. I think it was on AMC. I don't know exactly where it was, but it's one of the shows that was here. So it's saying the key is error. So usually when there is this mistake here, a key error, it means that there is no key. So what is happening here is that we're adding something, we're increasing something that doesn't exist. So, so it's like the chicken and the egg. So you cannot give something a value and tell them to increase the value if it doesn't have a value to begin with. So some people put, yes, it doesn't have 0. So the first thing we need to do is, like we did in the ice cream, put everything to 0. So put everything in a way that we can measure. So it's like moving everybody to the starting lane and say, okay, we're all gonna start here. And then some of you are gonna go forward and some of you are not gonna go that far. But we all have to start at one place. So the next thing we're gonna do is, let me go to my cheat sheet here. So we got the error. So the next thing we're gonna do is turn off the title equals 0 and turn, did I do, no, this, let me see my cheat sheet here. So this is what we did, and we got the error, good. So the dictionary, the way you add a dictionary is the dictionary name, which is title, the key, which is they came from the CSV, which is title without S, equal the value. So that's the first thing we need to do. So we need to turn on this line where at 0, because that's how we had it in the ice cream. So that's gonna start. It's gonna give us a starting point. So it's gonna send everything to the dictionary. We're gonna create a dictionary because right now the dictionary is empty. So we're gonna create a dictionary and we're gonna start at 0. So go ahead in your code and turn off, no, this code, turn off the incrementation of 1. So turn off line 25 and turn on line 24 and try and see if you don't get a mistake this time. Yeah, everything is set to 0. So now it's like the ice cream example. Fix it by doing print title. Yeah, that works for you. Yeah, that's, hey, you found something I didn't know. So great. So, so for now, everything has 0, but now we need to increment. Okay, so we're gonna increment. So now it's working with this. We have a starting point. We send everybody to the starting line, and now we need to start counting. So to do that, we need to, what did I do? So we're gonna add 1. So go ahead and turn on line 25. And if you do it different, it's okay. Just do it your way. That's the best thing to learn. And now everything is at 1, right? Everything is at 1. Everything is at 1. So we went, that's an incrementation. So this went from the row. So it's adding to the dictionary. So we are creating, these 2 steps are in the line 24, we're creating a dictionary. On line 25, we're incrementing. But right now it has no answer the question, what is the most popular, right? So you can see everybody has a value of 1. All the shows have a value of 1, but that doesn't help me, right? I need to know what is the most popular. So we need to start. So the first thing we're gonna do to counting. So the script is not counting values in the dictionary. It's incrementing everybody. It should check against the data of the CSV file and increase the count while comparing the title string. So another way to count while you're adding the data is to use this conditional statement. So let's try this conditional statement. So what it means, if title, which is that you're pulling from the CSV file, is in the dictionary, called titles, and I know it's confusing. Should I use something else? But they always do that in computer science. I don't know why. They like to use words that are very similar. But you can put if the title that came from the CSV, which could be avatar, is in the dictionary, then you need to increment 1 because you're counting, right? If it's not in the dictionary, it's equal to 0, you just add it. So you add it because it's not in dictionary. So if the title is already in the dictionary, we increase by 1. And if it's not in the dictionary, we add it to the dictionary and we assign a value 0. Okay, so let's try that. And I just put the lines here. So you can turn off, we're gonna turn off line 25. So go ahead and turn off line 25. And we're gonna turn on line 28 and 31. So if you have a Mac, it's command \. If you have a PC, control \. And then save. So now we're gonna do assign 0. Then it's gonna check, are you in the dictionary or you are not in the dictionary? Line 24. No, you leave line 24 on. This line 24 is on because you have to add, oh no, you're right. I had to turn off line 24. Yeah, you're right. So, well, let's try it before I get more confused. So let's run it. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, it adds, so it works. It works. So it works. So you can see now what is the most popular. So if you scroll all the way up, well, no, it's not gonna tell us, it's not sorted by value. We're gonna need to fix that. So so far it's very convoluted because it's not sorted by value. So you still have to fish around to see what is the most popular. But now it's counting. It seems like it's counting. Exactly. So what is going on is undercounting. And already somebody pointed out, and how did you notice it was undercounting? Because of 0, it starts at 0, right? Because when if it's in the dictionary, it should be value 1, right? So if it's in the dictionary, you put 0 and you add, like if you have avatar in the dictionary and it's value 0, you have another avatar, it's gonna add to 1, but you actually have 2 avatars. So we need to change that. And I already actually have a little trick for you because I wanted to show you another way to write this in a more Pythonic way. So we're gonna turn that off. So turn that off. And I put here a little notes. This one undercounts. And we're gonna turn 35 to 38. 35 to 38 on. And save it. And now what it's gonna do is, so this is another way to do it. I mean, you can change this perfectly, but I just wanna show you another way to do it. And if title, not in the dictionary called titles, then the value is 0. And if not, else add 1. So is this gonna come up? Look, let's try and see if, I hope it doesn't undercount. Oh, let me try that one and see if it's better. Oh, God, I got the other one. Let me see. There. It's good? It's good. So now everybody should be 1. You see, everybody should be 1. And if you compare with the one before, which we have the undercount, you're going to see a lot of the values were 0. When there was only one showing, it was I'll show you here. So when we were undercounting, oh, because it was adding 1. And now, see, we're getting this, and then that's a count, that's undercount, because if it's in the dictionary, it should be 1. But now with the other way we did it, now if it's only showing once, it's gonna add a value of 1. So this means this shows 13 reasons why it's showing in the dictionary only 1 time, so the value is 1. But ALF is showing, is on the data twice, so this will have value 2. So now we know it's not undercounting. If this one, and that's an easy way to look, that is was undercounting, because we have a TV show with value 0, and it should be 1 because it should count 1 entry as 1. So any questions about that? Okay, so I would suggest you just play with this, try, you know, some people figured out other more efficient ways. That's wonderful. Try to change it around and see what's happening. I spent a lot of time playing around with this code, and it was very fun to do, but also it taught me a lot how this is adding. Um, so this one, this is another way to do it. So if add value 0, if not in title, and increments by 1 if in title. So this is a very Pythonic way to do it. You can certainly change this 1 too, and put 1 here, and it'll work. It should work too. But I'm gonna leave it like that, and you try it out. Change the numbers and see. So the next week, there is still something off with this data, right? So it's very hard to find out what is the most popular show. If you go through that data, you have to scroll up and down. You see that? So there is no easy way to answer what is the most popular show. So how would be the best thing to organize this data so we can find the 5 most popular shows easily? And maybe display it to somebody, put it in a report, and print it out. Sorted by vote count. So right now, it's sorted by the key. So remember about the dictionary, this is the key, and we are sorting by the key. But to sort with the value, that's some other story that we're gonna work on next week. Okay, and that goes into something called lambda. And I put here a pic of what we're gonna do next week. And I put here a review of what what list comprehension and lambda is, which is a very Pythonic way. It's Python and all these very high performance programs. They like to be very succinct. In Python and other ones, people actually compete to make the code more succinct, easier to read, and also beautifully syntax. So everybody can look at it and say, oh, this is so simple. Why I didn't think of that? But that's very high level. People develop a skill by doing that for years. But Python allows itself to be very succinct. So we're gonna look at some of those examples next week, and we're gonna work on sorting the values, which is, we cannot do it with the sorted function. We have to do some extra steps to be able to get the values sorted. But I think if you look at the data, anybody saw which one is the most popular show? Yeah, Game of Thrones. So you know when what people, that's pretty accurate for last year. It was the show to watch, and The Office is still very popular. So and there are some other shows that I never heard before, and some old shows that um, uh, I didn't know that people in their 20s watched. So it's very interesting data. Okay, so hope to see you next week. Yeah, so Game of Thrones is 27. Yeah, no, Game of Thrones is 33 and the other one is 27. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that next week. So next week's our last class, and then next week I'm gonna talk to you about if you wanna take the next class, which is gonna start March 2nd, and it's the continuation but with SQL, and it's basic SQL, and then how to mix SQL and Python. But at basics, I'm not gonna do database design. It's just a sneak peek how to use SQL and how to use it. Like all this stuff we have done today and the past days with SQL, you can do it in one line and be done. So you're gonna be like, oh, this took no time. So, but we'll talk to you more later. So you guys have a great evening, stay warm, and see you next week. And let me know, it's like any questions, okay? Thank you so much.